You have a dream. God has placed something deep down inside of you, something that stirs your spirit, makes your heart race. It's not just an idea, it's a seed planted with purpose. But not everyone will understand that seed. Not everyone will see what you see. That's why you have to be careful who you share it with. Some people can't see past their own limitations, and they'll try to put those limitations on you. When Joseph in the scripture told his brothers about his dream, they didn't celebrate him, they resented him. Not because the dream was bad, but because they couldn't see themselves in it. Sometimes it's not that people are against you. It's just that your vision is too big for their imagination. And if you're not careful, you'll let their doubt water down your faith. You don't have to announce every step you're going to take. You don't have to explain every move you're making. The world doesn't need your play-by-play. They need your results. When the seed God planted in you is ready, it will break the surface and everyone will see it. But until then, keep nurturing it in the quiet. Work when nobody's watching. Pray when nobody's listening. Grow in the shadows until the fruit is undeniable. There will be times when you want to prove yourself. Times when you want to say, just wait and see. But the most powerful way to prove your doubters wrong is to succeed without warning. Let your work speak so loudly that you don't even have to say a word. When the harvest comes, when the promotion shows up, when the dream becomes reality, it will speak for itself. Don't be discouraged if people don't understand your vision right now. That's not their job, it's yours. Your job is to believe, to work, to keep showing up every day with the quiet confidence that what God started in you, He will finish. So stop announcing it and start living it. Because when your work speaks, it will tell the world more than your words ever could. When you carry a dream inside of you, it's like carrying a delicate seed in the palm of your hand. It's small at first, almost fragile, and in those early stages it needs the right environment to grow. It needs to be protected from harsh winds, from rough hands, and from anyone who might step on it without realizing its potential. When you share your dream with everyone, you open the door for voices of doubt to come in. You invite opinions that may not be aligned with the vision God has given you. Not everyone can see what you see, and not everyone is meant to. Some people will hear your dream and immediately measure it against their own limitations. And when they do that, they'll project their fears onto you. They'll tell you it's impossible not because it truly is, but because they can't imagine themselves doing it. If you're not careful, their disbelief will start to sound like truth in your ears. You'll start to question whether you're capable, whether it's worth pursuing, whether you should scale it back to something more realistic. But the truth is, what's realistic for them has nothing to do with what's possible for you. Your dream was given to you, not to them. Think about how seeds grow in the natural world. Farmers don't plant seeds in the middle of a crowded street where they can be trampled. They plant them in soil, away from danger, where the seed can take root in private. You have to treat your dream the same way. In its early stages, your dream is tender, and words, both positive and negative, are like water. The wrong kind of words can poison it before it even has a chance to sprout. You may think you're sharing it to get support, but in reality, too much exposure too soon can do more harm than good. That's why discernment is so important. You have to know the difference between someone who will nurture your vision and someone who will strip it of its strength. There are people in your life who, without meaning to, can talk you out of your destiny. They may love you, but love doesn't always equal understanding. You can tell them about a business you want to start, and they'll immediately point out the risks. You can tell them about a creative project, and they'll list all the reasons it might fail. They might not intend to discourage you, but their lack of belief can plant seeds of doubt in your mind. And if those seeds of doubt take root, they will grow faster than your dream if you allow them to. That's why you have to be intentional about who you let into the garden of your heart. There's also another reason to keep your dreams guarded. Sometimes, when you share too much too soon, you create unnecessary pressure on yourself. You start performing for the approval of others instead of working quietly toward the vision. You might even feel the weight of needing to prove yourself, which can cause you to rush the process or cut corners just to show results. but a rushed seed produces weak fruit. When you hold your dream close, you give it the time it needs to mature without the distraction of outside opinions. You can make mistakes, learn lessons, and grow in the dark without the world watching every move you make. It's not about being secretive out of fear. It's about being wise. There's a time to speak and a time to stay silent. Even the most beautiful gardens start underground, unseen. In those hidden months, the roots are forming. And those roots are what will hold you steady when the storms of life come. If your roots aren't strong because you exposed dream too early, the winds of criticism and doubt can uproot it before it bears fruit. Sometimes we think that by telling everyone, we'll get more support, more encouragement, more help. But here's the truth. Your dream doesn't need a crowd to validate it. It only needs your faith, your dedication, and the one who planted in your heart. The wrong audience can't see the greatness in the seed because they're not supposed to. They weren't given your assignment. They weren't called to walk in your shoes. So stop seeking confirmation from people who were never meant to understand your calling. There will come a time when your work will be visible, when your dream will be too big to hide. But until that time comes, protect it. Keep it in the soil of prayer, water it with discipline, feed it with perseverance. Surround yourself with people who see beyond what is and believe in what can be. And when you don't have those people, be your own encourager. Remind yourself daily that just because others can't see doesn't mean it's not real. A seed underground is just as alive as a tree standing tall. It's simply in a different stage. So protect your dreams from negativity. Keep them safe from the voices that would try to weaken your resolve. Guard them like treasure, because that's what they are. You have been entrusted with something unique, something powerful. Something that has the potential to change your life and the lives of others. Don't hand it over to anyone who doesn't value it. Wait for the right season, the right moment, and when that time comes, your dream will speak for itself in a way that words never could. There is something powerful about working in silence. In a world where everyone wants to broadcast their every move to show their progress before it's complete, choosing to stay quiet is a sign of discipline and wisdom. When you keep your head down and focus on the work, you remove the distractions that come from constant validation seeking. You're no longer performing for an audience, you're building for a purpose. Quiet work has a way of sharpening your skills, strengthening your resolve, and allowing you to produce results that speak louder than any announcement ever could. The moment you make your vision about impressing others, instead of fulfilling your calling, you risk losing the purity of the dream. But when your focus is on developing yourself step by step, away from the noise, the foundation you're building becomes unshakable. Working in silence means you're not dependent on applause to keep going. Applause is fleeting. It feels good for a moment, but it doesn't sustain you through long nights, setbacks, and sacrifices. Results, on the other hand, are permanent. They can't be taken away. When you've put in the hour, when you've practiced until you've mastered your craft, when you've studied until the information is second nature, you don't need to convince anyone of your work. The fruit of your labor will do the convincing for you. People can debate your words, but they can't deny your results. When you work quietly, you also avoid the weight of premature judgment. The moment you share what you're building, people start measuring it before it's ready. They'll have opinions about what you should change, what you should add, and how you should go about it. If you're not grounded, those voices can pull you in different directions, slowing your progress or even leading you away from the original vision. But when you're working in silence, the only voices you're listening to are the ones that matter. Your inner conviction, the guidance of wisdom, and the lessons you learn through the process itself. It's also worth noting that there's a certain satisfaction in unveiling something fully formed. Imagine training for months in private and then stepping onto the stage with skill and confidence that no one saw coming. There's power in that surprise. It commands attention in a way that steady updates never could. People may underestimate you when they don't see constant proof of your progress, but that's fine. Let them. Underestimation can be one of your greatest advantages. It's because it allows you to grow without unnecessary pressure or interference. By the time they see what you've built, it's already too strong to tear down. Working in silence also allows you to make mistakes without an audience. Every dream involves trial and error, moments of uncertainty, and decisions you'll later refine. If you've announced every step of the process, you risk feeling embarrassed when things don't go according to plan. But when you keep it between you and your work, those missteps become valuable lessons instead of public failures. You can adjust, adapt, and come back stronger without the weight of other people's opinions holding you back. There's a discipline that develops when you don't rely on external motivation. Without the encouragement of others, you learn how to encourage yourself. Without constant praise, you learn how to push yourself forward even when no one is watching. That self-motivation becomes a powerful force in your life. It means you can work consistently, not because someone is telling you to, but because you're committed to the dream. And dreams that are built on commitment rather than convenience are the ones that last. Focusing on the work instead of the recognition also changes your relationship with success. It becomes less about proving yourself and more about fulfilling your potential. When your eyes are on the process, the journey itself becomes rewarding. You start to enjoy the grind, the learning, the small daily victories that no one else sees. And when you finally reach the point where your work is ready to be revealed, the sense of accomplishment is deeper because you know every inch of that success was earned in the unseen hours. Silence is not a sign of inactivity. It's often a sign of preparation. Think about a seed planted in the ground. You can't see it growing, but under the surface, it's developing roots, gaining strength, and getting ready to push through the soil. If you judge the seed during those hidden weeks, you might think nothing was happening, but that would be far from the truth. The same is true for you. Just because people can't see your progress doesn't mean you're not moving forward. Growth often happens in the shadows before it's revealed in the light. So keep working when no one is clapping. Keep showing up when no one is watching. Keep perfecting your craft when no one is asking. Every quiet moment of effort is a brick in the foundation of your future. And when the time comes to unveil what you've built, it will speak so clearly, so powerfully that no one will need an explanation. Your results will tell the story better than your words ever could. There is a powerful truth in understanding that success has its own voice. And when the time is right, it will speak louder than anything you could ever say. You don't need to stand on rooftops declaring your plans, because when your dream becomes reality, it will do all the talking for you. Results are undeniable. You can argue with opinions, but you cannot argue with evidence. When the fruit of your hard work is visible, even those who doubted you will have no choice but to acknowledge what you've accomplished. That's why it's so important to trust the process and let your work be the proof. There's a quiet dignity in allowing your actions to build your reputation. People may question your silence now, but in time they will respect your results. When you let your work speak, you remove the need to defend yourself against criticism or disbelief. Every moment you spend trying to explain yourself to people who aren't ready to understand is a moment you could have spent making progress. The truth is, some people won't believe until they see it, and that's okay. You're not responsible for convincing them, you're responsible for building. Let your achievements be the answer to every doubt, every dismissal, every time someone underestimated you. There's no comeback more powerful than a life that reflects your original vision. Allowing your work to speak also creates impact in a way that words can't. Words can inspire, but they can also be dismissed. Actions, however, leave a lasting mark. When people see what you've built, when they witness the transformation in your life, it carries a weight that a promise never could. They can see the discipline, the dedication, and the consistency behind the scenes. They can see that your results didn't happen overnight, but were the product of intentional effort over time. And when people witness that, they're not just impressed, they're inspired. Your success becomes a living example that others can point to as proof that dreams are possible. There's also a sense of protection in letting your work speak for itself. When you keep your focus on producing results rather than defending your intentions, you avoid unnecessary battles. People may try to pull you into debates about whether your dream is achievable. They may want to challenge your methods or question your readiness, but you don't have to waste your breath responding to that. The moment your work stands complete, the conversation shifts. It's no longer about whether you can, it's about the fact that you did. Another beautiful part of letting your work speak is that it often exceeds what words could have promised. You can tell someone what you're planning, but when they see it for themselves, it often has a greater impact than they imagine. The element of surprise amplifies the effect. People expect small results from quiet workers, so when they see something extraordinary, it breaks through their assumptions. That's when respect is earned, not demanded. That's when your success begins to open doors you never even had to knock on. Letting your work speak also keeps you rooted in humility. When you're not constantly talking about your achievements, you stay grounded in the fact that your focus is on the mission, not the recognition. The satisfaction comes from knowing you've done the work well, not from the applause it brings. And the truth is, genuine fulfillment comes from purpose, not performance. Recognition may follow, but it's not the goal. It's simply a byproduct of excellence. Trusting your work to speak for itself requires patience. It means accepting that your efforts might go unnoticed for a while. It means resisting the urge to prove yourself before the time is right. This is where faith comes in. Faith in your ability, faith in the process, and faith that the seeds you've planted will bear fruit in their season. There's a divine timing to success, and trying to force it into the spotlight before it's ready can stunt its growth. But when you wait, when you stay faithful, the harvest is always worth it. It's also important to remember that when your work finally speaks, it will speak to the right people. Not everyone needs to understand your journey, and not everyone will. But the people who are meant to connect with your vision, who are meant to support you, invest in you, or learn from you, those are the ones who will be drawn in by your results. You don't have to chase them down or convince them. Your work will attract them naturally because it resonates with their own values and aspirations. In the end, letting your work speak is about integrity. It's about making sure that what you produce aligns with what you believe. It's about ensuring that your actions and results reflect the dream in its purest form. When your life becomes a living testament to your vision, you no longer need to justify yourself. The proof is right there for anyone to see. That is a more powerful statement than any speech, any announcement, or any promise. So keep building when no one is looking. Keep refining your craft when no one is asking. Keep pushing forward even when it feels like no one notices. It's because one day they will notice. One day, the doors will open, the opportunities will come, and the results of your quiet persistence will speak volumes. And when they do, you'll realize that you never needed to convince anyone. You just needed to keep going until your success spoke for itself.